Hey, welcome to another Today's Fun project. Today we've got this Acura MDX back here, and the issue that it's having is it's hard to get into gear. So it's a 4-speed automatic transmission. It has the shifter down on the console on the floor, and what's happening is when you go from park to reverse, very difficult. Neutral's not bad, into D4 is pretty difficult, and then D2 or 1 is almost impossible. I don't have any way to measure the resistance on it. I can just tell you, if we were using the Scotty Kilmer grunt scale, let's say 6.0 is the most grunts ever. Well, this is probably about a 3.5 to a 4 grunt. So it's pretty stiff, and what I want to do is take you guys into the car. I'll show you what's going on. There is a safety or solenoid release there. When you step on the brake, you must apply the brake before you put it into gear. Well, I can hear that clicking. That little solenoid is working fine. There's a switch up by the brake pedal, and once that contact goes on, it's basically the same switch, I believe, for the brake lights. It's releasing that solenoid, so that's not the problem. It will go into gear, just real difficult. There is a cable. I looked up a diagram. There's a cable that runs from the shifter to the top of the transmission. That's located right underneath the battery box. So we'll go inside, we'll see what's going on, and we'll take it from there. Let's see what happens. Let's step into this mambo jumbo here and see what's going on. When I step, well, let's turn on the ignition first. There's our shifter. Doesn't look like anything's been spilled, no soda or anything sticky on there. Let's turn on the ignition. And when I step on the brake, we should hear the click, which would be the shifter solenoid here, the safety. I'm going to do it now. So you can hear that. It's moving freely. Now when I try to, my foot is on the brake, go from park to reverse, not too bad that time. Neutral, it almost really didn't want to go in there. I could feel it. And then, oh, it's D5, my bad. D5, 4-3, it's a 5-speed transmission. Real difficult. And I'm forcing it right now. It'll go into 4. I don't want to force it anymore. I don't even know if I can get into 3. It feels like I'm going to break something. Maybe we're on the 6.0 grunt scale here. But anyway, it's very stiff. Here you go. I'm in reverse. I'm trying to get in park. There it goes. It finally went. So, real sticky. I really don't feel like taking this console apart if I don't have to. It's not too bad. It takes a little bit of time. But what we need to do is, I've checked, and this cable runs from here down to the top of the transmission, which is under the battery box on the left front of the car. And what I think I'll do is I'll take the left front wheel off, I'll remove the splash shield, and we'll get a better look at what's going on with that linkage up there. So basically the cable's coming into the linkage, and then the linkage is moving. Maybe there's corrosion, I don't know yet. Let's go there first, that'll be the easiest. Before we pop under the car, I just wanted to show you these shiny seatbelt buckles. Look at that one. And look at that one. If you haven't checked it out yet, I did a video on the SRS airbag light was staying on the dash. And this was covered under warranty, Honda recall, and it's definitely fixed the problem. So check that out. I'll leave a link in the description down below. I got the left side tire off the ground. There's a safety stand under there. Let's zip this wheel off real quick and get to the next step. Alright. Now with that out of the way, let me get the drop light on it. I'll show you guys. The splash shield I want to get to is right here. Bring it in for that. Alright, so what do we got here? We got a couple of these pins. I'll get a little screwdriver and pop that out. I think there's a couple down here. Maybe this one here. Whatever it takes. I'll pop those out, and once I have that loose, bam, we'll be on our way. Alright, so I'll just show you guys how to pop these pins out if you're not familiar. You get a screwdriver, you just pull the pin, there's a center pin on these here back. It's
sometimes they have a little like Phillips screw head. So once you pull that, take that out, then usually the back part comes right out with it. So let me get the rest of these. That's where we want to be, right back there. Let me get the rest of these out and I'll turn the camera back on. To get this piece out, there's actually two 10mm bolts. I already took them out. They're right there. I'll show you where they're located. There's one right over in this area, and then there's the one over here. So I just popped them off, and now let's yank this thing. Hopefully it'll yank out of our way. So pull it out, just stick it in up under the fender lip. There we go. And then I'll just push this up over, and the rotor will keep it. And where we need to get to is back up in here. So let me push this piece down and out of the way. Here's the cable coming in from the shift rod inside, and you can see it has this boot. This one's in good shape. If this was ripped, there could be moisture getting in there and cause corrosion on the actual cable. But I see this pin is pretty crusty, and you know, I see some rust back in here on this linkage. So what we'll do is there's like this little protective shield here. It's plastic. I'll take this 10mm bolt out so we can get this all lubed up real well, and we'll see what happens with that. Back here is your range sensor. So I don't want to get too crazy with the lube, but basically what a range sensor is a neutral safety switch. It's telling the PCM which gear you're in. It also does all that stuff. It reports to the TCM. We don't have to get in that today. I did do a replacement on an 05 Passat, I think it was, Volkswagen, where you actually have to remove an engine mount to get to this thing. It's a rail bear, but I've helped a lot of people out with that video. I'll leave that in the link description down below. So let's get this shield off. I got my 10mm here. I'll just do it, hopefully not too shaky. Just do it on camera for you. And see if that helps any. Here's the bolts out. That's good. Nothing snapped. I like that. Get this off. This just lays in there. You can see it's got like a little hook on the back just sitting right in there. It goes this way. So that's good. And I'm going to use my favorite flavor penetrant, which is PB Blaster. Let's just spray the crap out of this. Let it soak for about 10 minutes. And just for giggles, we'll see if it, you know, loosens up that shifter any. I got the blaster here. Let's blast it. Nice. Let's make a mess all over the floor too, since I didn't put anything under it. Anyhow, we'll let that soak in. And then what we'll do is we'll move the shift rod a few times after it soaks for a little bit. And I'll take you back in the car afterwards. We may have to work this back and forth a few times. Off camera, I went inside and moved the shifter to D1. I'm spraying in here. Watch, see if you can see any rust coming out of that. You can kind of, not too much in that shot, but earlier I saw some crappy looking stuff coming out of there, and I can grab onto it and actually wiggle it a little bit now. So there's some play there. I think it's loosening up. I could take this pin out, or a cotter pin out. You could remove that pin and put some grease on that. So that bad boy's been soaking for about 15 minutes. I gave it a few shots of the PB. Let's go inside the car now. We'll see if anything's improved. Ignition's on, so I just need to step on the brake, and we'll give it the one finger shuffle here. So over, reverse, nice. Neutral, 5, 4, 3, and 2. And then the one finger back. So that sucker's fixed, and the grunt level was 0.0. All right, so I'm going to spray a little bit of fluid film on here. You can't see what I'm doing probably, but hit that, hit that. That's good. That stuff bubbles up nice. Get in there, protect it. I'll put the little shield back on, this little guy, and put everything back together, and I think she's done. So we have the shift knob moving nice and smooth now. You know, the one finger technique. There's no grunting or moaning, but that's okay in this case. It's all good. So I appreciate you guys watching. I hope it helped you out. And if you're having this issue, you know what to do, where to go at least to look. If you take your car in to the dealer, they want $400, $500, $600 because they're using their best guess. Well, you can second guess.
So anyway, thanks again, and I hope to see you on the next one. Take it easy. Scotty Kilmer Grunt channel, so if you know what that means, I can't crack myself up.